Hello everyone, so I thought it'd been a while since I have done a video for my pale skin series. I've had loads of you commenting on those videos, so I thought it'd be a really good idea to do the next part of my pale skin series. As we are coming up to spring, summertime and the sun is shining, everyone will start talking about glowing skin. Now I know when you're pale it's quite hard to find products that suit your skin tone, and it can be quite hard to know how much or how little of a product you should use. I am by no means an expert at makeup. Sometimes, to be honest, I am quite rubbish. But I thought today I would try and show you how I create nice, dewy, glowing skin when it comes up to the summer so that you can recreate it at home. If you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up down below. I hope you enjoy, and here we go. Okay, so before we go any further, I have basically prepped my skin today by using the Clarins Alpine Herbs cleanser and toner. I'll include links to those down below. They're my new daily cleanser and toners that I use day and night. And then what I've done is I have used the Clarins Hydra Quench lotion on my face. I got the lotion this time instead of the cream because when I went to get it, it was out of stock. I'm not sure what I think of the lotion yet because it's only in early days of using it, but it's a lot thinner consistency. I find that the Hydra Quench is the only moisturiser that will moisturise my really dry skin through the day. So this is really my first time at using the lotion for a tutorial, so we shall see how that goes. First up, I'm going to take my favourite foundation. This would be a go-to for me for spring and summer just because it's perfect for creating that dewy look that we're going for today. This is the Sheer Glow foundation. I actually got my shade in Mont Blanc. To be honest, I thought I would be Siberia, which is the lightest one they do. I used a website, I think it was called Foundation or something like that, and I put in all my foundations and it came up with this one. There isn't a Nars stockist near me, so basically I took a chance and ordered it online, and when it arrived I think it's perfect because it just gives me a little bit of colour. And it's not too pale so that I look washed out, but it still gives a really nice glow and I don't get like an obvious line or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and with my e.l.f. complexion brush, which is from their studio range, I'm just going to buff that in gently so that we get a really glowy, even skin tone. Usually what I do with this is I dab it on areas with my finger first, just going around my face where areas might get just a little bit red, and then I basically use my complexion brush just to buff it in. If I'm doing a really dewy look, to be honest with you, I like to use it a little bit damp. I just feel like it blends slightly better. And as you can see now as I'm going, it's not too dark, but it's just creating a really nice dewy look. And it's just evening out those red patches and some of the areas where I've got a few little spots that have come to say hello. This is also like the perfect makeup look, I think, for if you're on holiday when it's quite hot, but you might want to change up the foundation for a tinted moisturiser if you don't want a base that's too heavy. Okay, so now we're going to move on to concealer. If you haven't watched my concealer video, then I'll include a link down to that below. I basically did a tutorial on how I use my concealer and why I use my concealer, but basically we're going to use Wake Me Up in Ivory from Rimmel, and we're going to use this concealer. It's slightly more orange. We're going to use it to correct the tone of my skin, and we're just going to apply this one in a triangle. And this is just going to correct all of the red areas to peachy tones so that when we apply the next concealer, everything matches up. And to blend this in, I'm going to use the Hourglass brush in number 3. This is probably one of my favourite and most expensive brushes. I'm hoping I can invest in some more of their brushes when I have small pennies. And if you want to, you can just dab that in with your finger just to finish it off, so that you don't end up with any areas that are slightly cakey. Okay, so next we're going to go on to our second concealer. This one is the Mercier High Coverage Under Eye Concealer in 0. And this will just be the final bit to get rid of the dark circles that you can see under my eyes here and here. I do have really deep puffy eyes, but this concealer is one of the best that I've found because it's so high coverage, and I'm literally just going to dab that on with my finger and blend it until you can't see it anymore. And you can see it's actually lighter than my skin tone, which for pale people is so hard to find. Sometimes I feel like you're almost going to have to find a concealer that's white. So this one works really well because it still has a slight peachy tone, but it has the desired effect of brightening up the area around my eyes. And just take a little bit up onto your brow because that will just brighten your eyes for the next step as well. Try to dab it quite gently. Okay. So next we're going to use a bronzing product just to give us that light glow. This one is kind of a highlighter and a bronzer in one. This is 17's Woe Tan Liquid Glow. I think it's only about £5, £4.99, something like that in Boots. And I use this no end. You can see how little I've got left. I use this all the time over last summer. It's really nice because it's not too dark, but it just creates a really beautiful glow. So I'm just going to use a few pumps of this on my hand, maybe about 3, and then I'm going to take the complexion brush again, and I'm just going to very lightly, gently dab it on, and I'm just going to dab this on the areas where you'd get a natural glow, so just on your cheekbones, up into your brow bone, and just gently across your nose. You don't need to use too much of this, it's just going to create a really nice glow. Don't know if you can see how dewy my skin looks right now. But it just creates that little bit of colour that you need to give yourself a summer pick-me-up. Okay, so as you can see now I'm not completely white as a ghost. For this look, I don't want to use a deep blusher or anything like that. So I'm going to use the Daniel Sandler Watercolour Liquid Blush. This is probably one of my favourite blushes just because of the way it applies. It gives you a gorgeous colour, but it's not too deep, and it just gives you that dewy glow that we're looking for. So I'm just going to use my blusher brush here, and you only have to use the tiniest amount if it's blended well. I just dab a little bit on your hand first, and then I just gently blend it onto the apple of your cheeks. And this is just such a pretty look for spring and the beginning of summer. You can deepen it if you wanted to into summer. I have got another bronzer here which I will use at the end just so you can see how it would look. But I've hardly used any of that watercolour blusher there, and you can see how lovely it looks on my pale skin. Okay, so if you're aiming for a light glow, I would leave the look here. I would apply a little bit of mascara and a nice peachy lip, and you'd be good to go. If, however, you want a slightly deeper look, I would recommend the Clarins Compacts. This is a Colours of Brazil bronzer, which was a limited edition, but to be honest, I've seen loads of their bronzers that are very similar to this. It's a really good size, and I love the design of that one. But basically, you could just take that one using your blusher brush again, and you could just take it up around the same places that you used the bronzer before. You could use your complexion brush as well if you wanted it to have a slightly deeper, and you can see that just bronzes it even more and gives an even deeper glow. It's not much, it's still very subtle, but it's just for those people who want to go for something a little bit dark. And I always like to just use a little bit just on my nose, because I feel like it gives you that I've just come back off holiday glow. It's really simple. And that's a powder product. And as you can see, I haven't used any powder on this. If you really worry about powder, I would recommend blotting powder, I would recommend blotting sheets if you're out and about and you're worried about, say, an oily nose or T-zone. If you really must use a powder, I would recommend the Nars loose powders. I use the colour Snow in that one, which is the palest you can get, and you can use a really light dusting of that and you still get a sheer glow. So sometimes I'll put it on in the morning, and by the time I've got out and walked to work, it's just soaked into my skin more and I have a more dewy look. So basically from here, that is the look done. I would just apply a little bit of mascara. The one that I've got here is the Rimmel Accelerator Lash, which is one of my favourites at the moment. Just give that a little wiggle. And then I would just tidy up my eyebrows, and you are good to go. It's also a really handy look because you can adjust it to fit your needs. So if you like to look slightly more dressed up, you can add in a smoky eye, you can add a bright lip, you can put a cat flick on your eye, you can go for your nice bold eyebrows, whatever you want, but it's perfect for your pale skin. So I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you'd like me to do more in my pale skin series, then please let me know. So until next time, bye!